here, and we are live. Wonderful. So people are going to start jumping in. People are going to start jumping into the chat. That's going to be a lot of fun. So real quickly, sometimes there are questions that happen in the chat. I'll bring those questions up, and you
Mhm.
guys can address those as you see fit. And if you don't answer those questions, that's fine. I'll, of course, organically bring those questions down back into the chat. But I'm
Mhm.
sure there'll be a lot of questions because everyone loves Kimberly. Kimberly is an absolute rock star. Thank you so
We
much,
love
Kimberly, for
it.
being our host once again. You're fantastic. And we have the amazing Kalisha here. Kalisha, how you doing? It's so good to see you.
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be here. You guys look amazing.
Thank you so very much. And I told Kalisha before we went live that I stay nervous. I'm always nervous. Kimberly, aren't you nervous right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like whoa, this is like a lot of pressure. Pace
Oh
Universe, we
my
got to do this
god,
right. Yes. Okay. So,
this is
real quickly,
good.
let's go over some a few announcements. So this week's going to be
Yes.
a really pretty big week because we have things happening. So, for example, tomorrow there's going to be an amazing meetup. There's going to be a top tier TC as well as a sub two meetup with Pace Morby as well as with Molly Tennant. They will be on hand. Okay, this will be in Scottsdale. This is happening from 4 to 6 p.m. Okay, for more information on that, please head over to whereispace.com to get some particulars. In addition to that, there's going to also be this Friday a meetup, May 17th, in Miami. Yes, so there's an Aspire meetup with all of these celebs that are going to be there on hand. But like Pace, he loves his community, so he's going to also during that same day he's going to hang out with his community in Miami. Head over to whereispace.com for more details on that. Okay, and last but not least, this is happening. Excuse me. Go to where'space.com. There's going to be a meetup in Lubbock, Texas. We don't have full links for that, but we do want you to jump on that information and keep notes on that so that when we update that, you're ahead of the game. All right. So let's get down to these wonderful questions and this great interview. I'm going to step backstage. Ladies, it's always a pleasure. Do your thing.
Thank you. Hey, creative
Hello.
community. What's up? I'm Kimberly. I'm your live every Tuesday at 5 Eastern Standard Time for this awesome creative community. Guys, this is a time that we get to interview these amazing investors in our community so we can collaborate and connect and just get to know one another. Like Mike's already on going, what's
Hi,
up? What's up,
Mike.
Mike? Shout out to Mike. So, I mean, this is just an amazing opportunity. So, thank you to the Morby Media team. Keola, thank you, Keola. You're always like giving me props. Thank you to the Morby Media team. They work so hard behind the scenes to make this happen. It's a small army to pull these things off. And I have the pleasure today to interview this amazing young lady. I've already done my due diligence on her and did a little research before I had her on to interview, but a little bit about myself. So I'm Kimberly. My real estate side, I connect, I collaborate, I consult, I close. My nursepreneur side, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, a coach, a CPR instructor. I have a ministry here in Southwest Michigan. I'm an endurance athlete and a mama to two amazing boys. So again, guys, this is your time to drop the comments and anything in the thread there and ask and hit us up, hit Kalisha up and hit me up so you can ask, these questions to us and you can hear it right from us. So with that being said, Kalisha, you're amazing. Let me just start off by saying that. Like, I did a quick little deep dive into these dope deals that you've done, and I know a little bit about you, but why don't you tell the audience how you got into real estate, what you were doing before real estate,
Yeah.
and what kind of got you into this amazing creative community?
Oh man, I'm gonna like crunch it into like a couple seconds.
Take your time.
Um,
Take your time.
but I'm a Jamaican and I moved to the US in 2018, gave up my perfect corporate marketing job, and then was working in the restaurant industry, bussing tables until I turned a restaurant manager. And in doing that, I'm like, I want to get into this real estate thing because I love watching HGTV, of course. And
Same.
then in doing my W-2 job, I'm like, okay, let me just explore this. And I started doing out of state investing. I started doing the Burr method. And that kind of turned into being a flip. And the reason why I ended up doing a flip was when it was time to do a refinance, the bank was like, I cannot give you a loan because you're not a US citizen.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm
okay.
like, well, I'm in the middle of two loans. How would that happen? I ended up selling those properties. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? This might be an issue for me to continue to move further. And I also need to figure out how can I use other people's money, because you hear it from other gurus as well. And I remember after I quit my W-2 to go full-time into real estate, Pace was doing this 24-hour Zoom. And I'm like, this dude is like, who sits on a live for 24 hours? So I joined it. I remember that exactly that Sunday, and I was on it for maybe at least 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this guy is actually legit. And literally like went through more of his videos and everything like that, got on a call with one of the advisors. And next thing I know, I was in sub 2. And then ever since that, I've been buying properties using creative financing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to recap, you came here about 6 years ago from Jamaica, bussing tables. So going from restaurant to real estate.
Yeah.
And you find Pace Morby and you're like, mind blown, I'm joining this community. And so it was basically that 1 5-hour continual like Zoom meeting that made you be like, okay, I'm going to join. So it was just that. Well, hey, that's some good marketing. Like we all need to clone his marketing, right?
Exactly. And I was like, that was the perfect thing. And I was around people. Well, I wasn't around people who are doing real estate. Everything, a lot of connections I've made was virtual. And I was like, I'm tired of doing this thing virtually. I want to now be around people. I want to be a part of a community. And doing more research, I realized, okay, this is actually a potential for me to be around community.
That's amazing. Did you have any experience with the community through the free Facebook group, or just, wow.
No, just went right in.
Wow, you sound like me. And then it's just an honor to interview other women investors. I love my men, don't get me wrong. All my business partners are guys, but like, what is it? The statistics are like 28 to 30% of real estate investors are women. So I have had the pleasure of interviewing now like 3 or 4 powerhouse women, and you're from Jamaica, different country, come into the US like the baddie you are, and you just start slaying like real estate. Like, oh my goodness, like talk about just taking action.
That's literally it. Like when I joined sub 2, like it was the first coaching program I've ever joined. Like with my background, anyone that offers coaching, it's some scam or something like that. And I was like, you know what? At this point in my life, this is exactly what I need to get to the next level. Like I knew within myself, I need that. And I just pulled the plug and I was like, let's just go all in.
Wow. I mean, and congratulations on all your success, because like I said, I did a little due diligence before interviewing, and you have some amazing stories, I'm sure, to share outside of this. But let's talk about the deal that actually landed you this interview. Like, tell me about like how you found it, who was involved, what community squad members, like just give me a little overview of the whole process of how you stumbled or maybe not stumbled upon this deal.
It's so with this deal, I was doing direct to agent on it. It was when it was really important with the low equity deal. And at first I was doing everything solo because I'm used to doing things solo. And I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere doing things solo. So I decided to partner with Mamadou Diallo for the direct to agent, because after doing it for like 2 months, I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere. I was doing it here in Florida, and I was like, I'm missing something. I need a partner with someone who's doing it. Oh, hey, Rosie.
Alicia, I agree, Rosie. And say his name again. Like, I haven't met him in person. What is it, Mama? Like, I'm
Mamadou Diallo.
Mamadou. Okay. Does he go by like a keyword? Okay. All right. I have to practice that 5 times fast.
It's insane. No, so when I reached out to him, I was like, hey, I really need help. These are the amount of calls that I'm making. What am I missing? And he's like, girl, like, go to Texas. I'm like, listen, you're talking to a Jamaican. I don't know anything about the other states. I just know about Florida. And he's like, go to San Antonio, look for on market deals, make some calls, and look for this list and pull a list. And I started going through and calling. And I remember I almost gave up because I'm like, I hate cold calling. People are hanging up in my ears, all these things. And the very last minute, when I was ready to give up, I got my first deal from an agent that I found online. I actually reached out to her. She didn't, right? Right when I'm about to give up. And I was like, so literally I called her, she didn't answer. And we were told, like, when you're doing direct to agent, like when you double dial, if that doesn't work, leave a message. So I sent her, oh, thank you.
Lots of guys. You're popular.
So I ended up leaving that agent a text message and she responded. And literally when she answered the phone, I tell her, hey, I'm looking to do something creative. Would your sellers be open to it? And after explaining it, she was like, I think this is exactly what my seller needs. I was like, wait, there was no objection? Because I'm like, ready. Whoa. Yeah. I'm like, I'm ready for you, lady, to answer all the objections that you have, to tell me this is a scam, all those things. And literally, oh, hey, boo. I love this.
People are showing up for you today. I love this. Amazing. This is, I mean, if this doesn't fill your cup, I don't know what else would. Like, you have like your own personal fan page, like all up in the line.
I love it. Talissa's my girl, man. Which Talissa started doing creative financing too with private money, which is wild. But like when we got the deal in, I explained it to a point and she was like, hey, this is exactly what my seller needs. Now, this is my first time. I'm like, okay, this is real. Yeah, this is like legit. I'm not going to screw anything up. She's like, let's get on a call with my seller. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. No. And I called Mamadou and I was like, because Pace always says, like, say your partner, like, to tell that you're going to touch base with your partner. So I told the agent, I'm like, hey, let me touch base with my partner first and let's arrange a call. So I got Mamadou on the call. We did a 3-way and it was just amazing just to hear him explain certain things to the seller to make sure they're comfortable. For me, that was, I'm learning because I'm hearing what he's doing. So the next time I can do it on my own and try it. And we bought that property in San Antonio, Texas, with the intention of doing a wrap exit strategy. And lo and behold, it's a whole different story with that. Dylan! Hi, Dylan. Those are all my pieces here from Tampa. There's amazing, and sub 2 members too. So that is amazing. Hey, Dylan.
And I'm like, how have I not met you yet? Like, that's crazy. So recap of it. So Mamadou hooked you up. So shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
And like, you had your first unicorn agent that was actually really responsive to like creative finance. Like, wow, like you had the perfect setup to be just completely successful. Was there anybody else involved in this deal? Any connectors or any private money or anything like that? And you mentioned that it was a sub 2 wrap for the exit. So did you have to pivot with purpose, as I always say, and execute an exit strategy? Is that what I'm getting to?
Oh yeah. All right,
let's hear about that.
So in going through the wrap exit, again, didn't know anything about San Antonio market. So I reached out to Monif, actually. I reached out to Monif. That time Monif was doing the Saturday creative underwriting Zoom. So he helped us to underwrite it, structure the wrap, everything like that. He gave us connection to like dispo persons. And I think Chai as well. They were very helpful with like getting us to understand that market. And in doing the wrap as well, I think we're like month 2 in. Oh yes, you got to pivot. I think that's my whole theme with all my properties creative. I always have to pivot all the time.
Yep.
You too?
Mister's from another mister, literally.
Every single one never goes according to plan.
Every single one. It's like odds. Yeah.
All the time. So like by month 2, we're like, okay, this is not going according to plan. And we used private money for the entry fee. And that was from my landlord. And I got that for 4 months, 12% annualized. So we're like, guys, we're on month 2. This property is sitting. We got 2 more months. We need to figure this out. so we can pay off these lenders. These are people I've built a relationship with.
Sure.
And moving forward, I think after we're at month 3 and we're like, no, something's happening. And another investor came in, be like, I want to buy this from you with on a wrap. So we're like, okay, terms weren't so good. So we asked them, like, what are you going to do with this property? They're like, short-term rental. We're like, wait, what? Why? They're like, oh, you guys are close by SeaWorld. You guys are close by the base, the military base. We're like, oh, we're not going to do a wrap anymore. We're going to do a short-term rental. And the good thing, when we got in, it was worst case scenario. We needed to have 2 exit strategies. So we knew that the short-term rental would have worked either way. But here's the thing, because we pivot to a short-term rental, or entry fee moved from $35,000 to an additional $40,000 to furnish. Plus we now have to account for holding costs. So we went back to that same lender, be like, hey, even though I really did not want to do that, I'm like, can you give me an additional $40,000 for this deal? So we're like, which is insane, because we're like, we have sub 2 in first lien, we have their 35 in second lien, and we're like, whoever comes in needs to be in third lien, or we're willing to give equity. So with that deal, we're like, hey, if you come in with an additional $40,000, I will now make you a partner on this deal. That way, I don't have to worry about 12 months. Where am I going to get $80,000 to pay you back in 12 months from this buy and hold? So we did that, and they came in as a partner. That $40,000, we use it to furnish the house. And then we also use that to pay them the interest from their first loan.
Sure. Smart.
And so we literally we weren't out of pocket until month 2, 3, when the market just shift. And we're like, oh my God, no, we can't do a short-term rental because it's not bringing in the income that we truly need. So we had to pivot again and do a midterm rental. Thanks to people like Tanisha and Cece, they helped me so much to figure out what is the next thing that I can do, how I can position the listing so for us to make money. So those community members as well, help me to figure out what the different exit strategies, because you're not going to know everything.
Right. No, that's amazing. And that's so important to reverse engineer things. Like when you are going into a deal, how am I going to secure my private money lenders and how am I going to get them out? Because you loan to own and they will take things from you. And so you were able to completely annihilate, what you had to do on that pivot. And that's why you have an exit to your exit, because what happens when an ordinance comes in and they shift and you can't pivot out of that, and now you're stuck in a non-performing asset, bleeding at the seams, unable to get your partners out. You need to know. And look at this, Dylan, Kalisha helps so many people. She embodies go-giver mindset. 100. Yes, I agree. 100. Just listening to you talk, you can tell that you have absorbed so much, and you have learned. I mean, how long have you been in sub 2?
Coming up to 2 years now. I didn't even realize until Jade was like, you're coming up to your 2-year anniversary. I was like, what?
Yay, anniversary. And I get to interview you around your anniversary. I feel so honored. I mean, girl, I'm super impressed because you utilize the community, you leveraged other people's knowledge. And not only did you do that, but you had a safety net and you had a plan and you communicated. And that's what's so important in this industry, to communicate, over communicate, because especially I've done lending deals, and the over communication, so that lender feels secure of being completely transparent and authentic. Like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is our plan in order to secure you. We got you. And sometimes that's all you need, right? To explain things. And they're like, oh, I now have an opportunity to come in with equity or exchange my expertise for equity or whatever your pivot or your exit is. So kudos to you. That was amazing. So now do you have a third exit, fourth exit?
Always. Right now, I always have my favorite couple. and Myron, I love them.
Horrible with names.
Oh my God. No, it's crazy. Now I stress having 2 exit strategies all the time. I'm not going to get into a deal if I don't have 2 exit, because I'm especially because I'm using a lot of private capital. I was like,
Right.
I need to know that I'm able to give those people their money back. Worst
Mm-hmm.
case scenario. And I have different ways to give them their money back, because then for me, like, I've built these relationships with people,
Yeah.
and I don't want anyone to be like, Kalisha didn't do this, Kalisha didn't do
Mm-hmm.
that. She's all talk. Like, oh, that thing will mess me up. I was like, mm-mm.
Well, your name is everything in this industry. And when you lead with integrity and you're transparent, things happen.
Mhm.
Like Pace says, what happens when aliens come down? What happens when there is a recession and your complete market analysis tanks, and things don't happen the way that they should? And an exit too that I always like, especially for anything over like a 2 or 3, like a 3-2, is care homes, because they're federally protected under the FHA because it's a vulnerable group. And so a sober living or residential assisted living or any kind of veterans care home, it's really good, because you can beat, if it's in an HOA, they've never won a case that I know of. Yet, I say that loosely, but yeah, because other people's choices can result in a consequence, whether that's like at a state level, a federal level. So always having that mindset, okay, what am I going to do if A, B, and C? I'm an ICU nurse by trade, so I always was ready for everything. Because you hope for the best, but you like anticipate the worst. And then I feel if you address that front up, like you did with every single thing you did, from securing your PML and then turning them into a PMP, like that's brilliant.
It's crazy too, because like I always tell a person, like, forget about the term, the strategies. Creative is like, it took me a while to really understand this. Like, creative financing it's a tool that you need in your toolbox. Like, when you hear different strategies that people are using, take those strategies and implement in your business. Because then, like, if the wrap didn't work, now you need to start thinking, how can I creatively structure this deal? What can I do? Can I do a rent by the room? Can I do a per bet type of thing? Like, taking out the terms and all that stuff, but it's what are the different strategies can I pivot to? That is creative. How can I get creative with repaying people's money? And I think just hearing other people's story as well, like sharing what they're sharing in the community, then you're like, oh wow. Like, a lot of times I see these posts and I was like, I'm gonna try that strategy. That's very creative. Creative financing.
Yeah. You'll warm your hands by the fire, but not enough to get burned,
Yeah.
Thanks,
Exactly.
Nate.
Exactly.
These
Thank
ladies
you.
are amazing. She's amazing. Like, I'm just blown away by your poise, your intellect, your pivots. Like, and you're a young lady in this industry from another country, just killing it. So for the people that need inspiration, that you can do this, like, you just have to be yoked with the right people at the right time, and just make sure that you're doing your due diligence when you are taking advice, because you don't want to take advice from everybody. The first question I ask when I am vetting a deal or a lending deal is, hey, tell me a time the poo hit the ceiling fan and you had to pivot. Like, I want to hear about those stories on how you were able to secure, so I mean, that's golden. We have a question. What training or mentor can we meet with or talk to start? I don't want to annihilate that name, but I think just starting right here, listening to these lives, we have these every day of the week, I believe, except for Friday, hitting up at the end of this interview. We'll have her Instagram and ways that you can connect. So starting off in the free Facebook community, I think, is key, because you get so much value and knowledge. And don't disregard the YouTube. Like, Pace has a whole entire library full of 5-hour Zooms, and Jerry Norton like goes down like the whole. Whenever I have a question that I don't want to explain, like you, because I don't like talking to agents and I don't like doing all that, I just like, here's a video, do your own investigation, and then come back to me with questions, because then you're putting it in their corner. So I start anywhere, really. I mean, friend Kalisha and be like, hey, what up, girl? Can I hop on a 15-minute discovery call with
That's
you?
it.
Right?
That's it. And I do those a lot, like with sub-2 members. Like, I do weekly 15-minute calls with people who or just want to get in, and I just like dedicate that time a few times for the week to just give back.
Love it. That's so amazing. So my next question was, how did sub 2 impact your life? I think we've already covered that, but can you think of like a golden nugget of how it's impacted you from going from, waiting tables and working your way up through that industry to this industry? Like maybe one golden nugget there of how it's impacted you?
So the crazy thing is, there's so many. I'm trying to find like the perfect one to sum up everything. Thank you. Honestly, I would say the big thing will be community. Here's why, and I'm going to expound on it. A lot of times you join different mastermind, the community isn't active. So that's one. I love the fact that when I needed help immediately, if I made a post in that Facebook group, someone is there to help. They're commenting, they're sending me a DM. Hey, I saw your post. Do you still need help? This could be weeks after and people are still responding. So I love that. Like a lot of persons would always go directly to Pace, but he has built such a great community of people who are willing to help. And I love that. Up to this day, if I need anything, I'm going in that group because best believe someone else had that same question, and then you have multiple responses. And for me, that's learning. Like if I don't want to go back and watch the video, I'll just sit down and start reading all those comments. So the main thing for me was I've learned so much from just being a part of that community, and then just sharing my experience as I grow and learn and giving back and seeing people. Like it's just a whole cycle. So you give back, and then that same person comes back and give back to a new person who joins sub 2. So it's like the cycle continuously grows. And just when you meet people in person, like, oh my gosh, like that is just, it's like a whole family reunion, just like Squat Up Summit. So
yeah, you were there too, and I didn't meet you.
Trust, a lot of people was there, and I was like, wait, you were there? Like, and that's the whole beauty. I think we're all in sub 2, and you've seen people's faces on Zoom, you've talked to people, you've done business with people, and you've never met them in person. And then you meet them, it's insane. You meet them in person, you're like, oh my God, finally. Like exactly.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It took me almost like 8 months before I actually met my business partner, my first business partner in person. And so, yeah, like when I met Carly, I'm like, wow, you're really tall. Like I wasn't in. So, I mean, it's been so awesome to interview you. You pretty much like just answered all the questions that I was going to continually ask. So two other questions I have. One is like drinking the Kool-Aid, right? Like if someone's on the fence, like, yeah, I've seen the videos, but it's a lot of money. There's a lot of mentorships. There's different options. If someone was like indecisive on whether to join or not, what like nugget would you give them on joining?
Join my story. Like not join my story, but listen to my story. Like I went on a rabbit hole. I knew within my I knew at that point in my life that's exactly what I need. A lot of you already know, like, in order for me to get to the next level, this is what I need. But I think a lot of people, you're thinking about the money side of it, and we all have that issue, like. But my advice would be get on a call and talk to someone. Explore what are your options. Like when I got in, I did the payment plan, and I'm not afraid to say it. But I knew I wanted to get in, and that advisor was super helpful in helping me figure out what to do. So I think a lot of people want to join, but they think about money. I was like, don't. It's an investment. Think about it when you had to go to college and high school, whatever it is, you had to find a position because it's key. So in order for you to get to the next level, this is an investment into yourself to further your education. So go all in. And if you're gonna do it, just go all in and just go do it. Like they didn't pay me to say this, you guys, but look at me now.
We get no money from this.
Like your return on investment is gonna be infinite. They're not kicking you out or nothing like that, but you're gonna build so much relationship. And if you're thinking like, how are people investing out of state and they live in a whole different state, is because like when you're in a community and you are able to collaborate and partner with other persons who are doing it, it builds that confidence in yourself as well.
That part. Right. And
Yeah.
you're a lot like me, where you're relationship rinse and repeat kind of gal when it comes to investing, because you're not interested in the amount of doors or deals that you're doing. You're interested in that organic, natural, family, feel good, Jamaican, like kind of like you guys are just like huggy and like, I mean, I'm so just geeked that, do they even say that word anymore? I'm just really, the wisdom that you have, I know it shows my age, right? Like 80s MTV style. But the wisdom that you have is just is amazing. So I thank you so much for the time that you've given. I think you gave so much insight and value. One last question is, how can people connect with you besides like at Kalisha Carter?
Honestly, on Instagram, my Facebook, everything is at Kalisha Carter. Like, send me a DM there. If you're in the community, I do a ton of free call. Just send me a message to ask, hey, can I get access to your free 15-minute call? And I'll send you those as well. And just join the public group and send me a message too. A lot of times things will get lost in Facebook. So you guys just tag me in something or send me a message on Instagram, please. And then I'll respond. Yeah. And take a picture of this and go and show everyone that you were here and what value that you learned today. And I'll see it too. It's good.
I love it. I love it. So what's one more question? What's your next goal? Really quick, like one sentence, like what is your next like deep dive or a goal that you have?
So that's a good question, but honestly, I don't have one.
Okay.
I am the type, I used to get overwhelmed with having bigger goals. And now I'm like, I'm just going to push myself, whatever opportunity comes, I'll do it. And then if it's something where I need to go raise $10 million, $30 million tomorrow, then best believe I'm just going to say, yes, that's going to be the goal. But it's really just keep raising capital as much as I can, and whatever opportunity presents itself as it relates to raising private capital, then I'll definitely keep doing that.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. Those are some amazing goals. Again, thank you so much for being here. And it's been so fun to interview. This has been just an amazing 32 minutes and 5 seconds.
Love it. No, this is good. This is good.
Yes, I am back. And Kalisha, oh my gosh, you are a rock star.
I know.
I must bow. My goodness, the chat. I'm like, wow, who's Kalisha? Oh my gosh, she's making me nervous that I'm backstage.
It's so funny. I love it. No, this was good. This was really good. Thank you. Kim, you're amazing. You're a great host.
Isn't she an amazing host?
My heart was like,
like, you're a good host. You got nothing to be nervous about.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Kalisha, again, thank you so much for joining us today. And expressing your life and your experiences, your positive pivots. I mean, like, it was so much. I was actually in the backstage taking some notes, so I might be on one of those 15-minute calls with you in the future. Just saying.
I got you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yes, absolutely. And let me just go over some quick announcement, just one announcement, because tomorrow is a very big day. So tomorrow is going to be a cool top tier TC meetup with Pace Morby and Molly Tennant. We're going to be going over top tier TC information, as well as some sub 2 information that you definitely need. So I highly recommend that if you're in the Arizona Scottsdale area, go to the whereispace.com website for more information on that. And as always, it's a pleasure to serve you guys. Kalisha, I'm honored that you've joined us. And Kimberly, oh my gosh. You're fantastic. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
No, Bye.
See you guys.